Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here today to review the remake, well, another one of the remakes of Blood Feast from 2016. Now, I remember seeing the trailer about this on YouTube a while back, and I was like, I didn't think too much of it. And something happened, and I was thinking about the movie again, and I thought maybe I'd check see if it's available on Amazon Prime, and it was available free if you have Amazon Prime, and I did, so I decided to watch it. I was like, it couldn't be any worse than the remake of Wizard of Gore. The remake of Wizard of Gore with Chris Glover was horrible, awful. It was so boring. That was like a 0 out of 10. And I'm a huge Herschel Lewis fan. And I remember reading an article about him in it's either Famous Monsters or Fangoria. I can't remember. A long time ago. And then whenever we got a VCR, we got membership to home video, or the home video rental, or I can't remember what it was. My friend John called it Lampman's, and this is before it became Papa Rob's Video. And I remember they had the thing from Continental and a big frame with the original Blood Feast. It had a photo of the girl with her tongue ripped out and the thing. I mean, very gruesome cover and stuff like that. In a big box. And this was Blood Feast is one of the most important movies in cinema history. They have most important films. It's a very low budget movie, Herschel Lewis, but it was the very first gore film. And Herschel Lewis is known as the godfather of gore. I know they also call Lucio Fulci that, but I mean, technically, Herschel Lewis really is. Because he was the first one to do it. And I've been a big fan ever since. I know my friend Finesse Benel Nut, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He showed me a website, a YouTube page that the guy, a lot of his movies, I've seen a lot of his movies. A lot of movies I haven't seen because they're really hard to find. I have seen a lot of them though, and he's shared me a YouTube channel that this guy that uploaded pretty much almost all the Herschel and Lewis movies. I seen some of them, and it was weird because at the time, whenever my dad was, I mean, I watched someone. I mean, my dad was against it because I watched it out here because that's where the Roku was. I like watching on the Roku through YouTube. That was always, and he was always bitching about it, and he was like, I want to see football, baseball. And I didn't have the heart to take the Roku out and put it in my room. And he never used it whenever I was gone. He didn't know how. And I tried to tell him, and said, I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn. So, I mean, I saw some of the movies here. I remember seeing How to Make a Doll, watch some of it the night, the last night he was alive, and then watching the rest of it after he passed away. And then I wasn't really in the mood to watch a whole lot of other ones. And then they took a lot of videos off his channel. YouTube took a lot of videos off his channel. And then I remember there was two movies, The Vortex and Stick It in Your Ear, that I did see that I did reviews on that were hard to find. So I did. I mean, I wish I would have watched more before YouTube terminated his channel. I can't remember the guy's name. But I mean, I was too depressed over Dad's passing and stuff like that. And it was tough watching anything with Dad because he was always sitting right there, the main TV. So I didn't see a lot of those, but I've seen a lot of other ones throughout the years. And most of the gore films, and there was like some of the really odd ones that I haven't been able to see, but I've seen some of the ones like Year of the Yahoo and stuff like that. Well, anyways, in Germany, well, they said there was a couple other remakes of. They said Mardi Gras Massacre. I just found on IMDb, making 78 was a remake of Blood Feast, which I still haven't seen yet, but it's on YouTube. I should probably watch it sometime. It's one of the video nasties. Blood Feast. It's weird that Blood Feast was one of the video nasties too, and it said it was banned in Germany. But I remember renting it in Germany from this one American place from Continental. They said it's still banned in Germany. I saw it. I saw it again. I made a copy of it in Germany. But I've seen it before, and all that guys is like, "Why are you watching this for?" And they didn't appreciate it. But I loved it. is a cinematic classic from. I mean, very low budget, but he delivered on his product. Anyways, I remember renting a movie called Blood Diner, and they said this was another. I didn't know at the time. It was like a horror comedy, and this is back when Vestron, who usually just did videos, had their own started a movie production company, and they had like big budget movies that played in the theater, like Midnight Crossing. A lot of these ones I just saw on video. I did go to this theater in Fort Gordon. I saw Waxwork at the theater though, which is a great man. They showed a lot of gore in that one. Um, but a lot of the, and then I think like in 91, 92, or 93, they went out of business. I think maybe they just bit off more than they can chew. A lot of the video companies went out of business right around 91, 92. Most of the ones like Media, uh, Avco Embassy, and all these other ones. Well, anyways, I started watching Blood Diner and said, hey, wait a minute, this is like Blood Feast. And it said dedicated to Herschel and Lewis, and it was like a remake of Blood Feast. And so time goes on, and then Shriek Show through Media Blasters brought Herschel and Lewis and Dave Friedman together, and they made a sequel to Blood Feast called Blood Feast 2 All You Can Eat, which is fantastic. John Waters is in that, and there was a lot of gruesome stuff. And even though second half he turns it more into, it was always comedic and stuff like that with the traces of Herschel and Lewis stuff. And then like the second half he turns it more into like a comedy stuff, which is fine with me. It's very enjoyable. It's really good. Well, anyways, like I said, a year or so ago I saw the Blood Feast, and I watched the trailer, like, kind of shrugged it off. And for whatever reason, I was curious to check it out today and see if it was available on Amazon Prime, and it was. I watched it. Caroline Williams was in it, and she was the one, if you remember, she was the one that starred in Texas Chainsaw 2, and she was the hero in that one. And it was weird whenever they had her, a cameo in Sharknado 4, I think it was, with her and Dog the Bounty Hunter, and they were like a family of chainsaw killers. And you talk about Leatherface, like Texas Chainsaw, and it was kind of cool they had her in the cameo. But it was weird because she was the one wielding the chainsaw, but she was the one, the good person in, well, she wielded a chainsaw in that one too, in the original Texas Chainsaw 2, the one that Tobe Hooper did back in 85, I think. You know, yeah, as far as the series for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the best ones are the two that Tobe Hooper did. Well, anyway, she was in this one, and it revolves around Fuad Ramsey. If you remember, he's trying to please the god Ishtar, creating a blood feast of human people and stuff like that. And then whenever people eat that, supposed to eat the people for the blood feast and stuff like that, Ishtar's supposed to come to him, and they live together. And so, I mean, it starts off with like two people tied up, and they started saying the thing like people with heart conditions and young children shouldn't watch this, and impressionable. They're trying to create the way they had like the original trailer for Blood Feast. And some of the other Herschel and Lewis ones, where the guy warning people and saying, if you have impressionable children, please leave the theater now. And then they say thank you, and then they show the movie, they show the trailer. And they did that, and they shot, and it was like all shot. It looked like a Saw type thing with two people, and they showed like they were just tied up, and it showed like a little thing, and they showed a guy doing an Evil Dead, pushing guys' eyeballs towards the end. They said, enjoy the Blood Feast. And then all of a sudden you cut away to a couple, and it was Fuad Ramsey and his wife, and then you see him brushing his teeth. And the weird thing was, it's weird because I have an objection with it. He brushed his teeth and then he took his pill afterwards. Usually you should do that the other way around. And then he had his pills, and then he dropped them in the sink. And then when he got more pills, he put them like right in that pill dispenser right above it. I'd be afraid I'd drop them again. I'm getting ahead of myself. And they own a diner in apparently in France. But apparently it was shot there, but it wasn't really that convincing. It was Europe, but it was filmed there, I guess. Well, anyways, he stopped taking medication. He's also a part-time job as a watchman at a museum, an Egyptian museum. And then the goddess Ishtar saw him in a vision. I think he was going nuts and saying, you need to create a blood feast and we'll be forever together and stuff like that. And like, all right, kind of. And then eventually he kind of kills some people and stuff like that, but they don't show that much. It's usually cutaways I mean, there is some shown in its sadistic enough in nature to it definitely gets an R rating, but not enough is shown. Not like in the Herschel Gordon Lewis ones. A lot of it's like cutaways, or it's real dark, you can't see that much, or they cut away, they show a little bit and cut away, show a little bit, cut away. Herschel Gordon Lewis, whenever he did it, they show a lot, and it was like this was like 36 minutes into the movie. The movie's only 96 minutes long. A lot of it's talk. Like what? Quentin Tarantino directed this? I mean, but he would have made it a little bit better than this. But boy, it took a long time, and they had like relationship between the girl and the cop. It would have been cool if the family, because they had a wife and daughter, and the daughter's like maybe 30 or something like that. I don't know. It would have been cool. I thought at the beginning you said, well, they don't know, then him hiding it might be interesting. It wasn't. If they were all in on it, doing it might have been better, and they might cut to the quick stuff that you come to expect. For remake of Herschel and Lewis, make sure you deliver the gore. Herschel in the original Blood Feast, they had like the opening credits, and it's pretty much in the first 5 minutes they show something. I mean, much more graphic, well, than anything in the new Blood Feast, or remake of Blood Feast. Yeah, it's a disappointment. It's much better than the remake of Wizard of Gore. Now, they do have a scene with Herschel and Lewis in it, where the guy's in the library. Like I said, they really take their time telling the story about him doing research on Ishtar and all this other stuff. They have a scene where, like, I guess he's watching the video on the computer. I think there's a video on YouTube that saying Herschel and Lewis on Blood Feast 2. I think that's his scene from the movie. I think. It was nice seeing Herschel and Lewis in it, but that was... And Caroline Williams, who's still very pretty. I think she's pretty. It was cool. She was in it, but I mean, it's only okay. They don't show enough. It's frustrating if you're a Herschel and Lewis fan. Most people might not know who he is, the newer people. But, I mean, it's really disappointing. Much better than a remake of Wizard of Gore, though. Sometimes I don't even know why they bother to make remakes. Like, they want to do all these reboots of, like, the slasher films and stuff like that. Instead, make a sequel, because you always have these characters established. Make a sequel instead of just telling the story of their origins again. I mean, but this one I understand it's just a remake of that. But I mean, it's only okay. I think the guy who played Fuad Ramses did a good job, but it just wasn't very good. I mean, it took forever, and then the main payoff in the movie, they kind of gloss over it, and then they show scenes of him, other stuff. And it gets kind of dumb. It's a real letdown, but I'm glad I saw it for free. I didn't think too much of it from the trailer, and people said it looked like a very uninspired remake, but I mean, it's okay. I give it a 2.5 out of 10, just because they were. I mean, it's a remake of the Herschel Gordon Lewis Gore classic, and they were afraid to show much gore. Definitely show it unrated, but most of the time it was shot in the dark. You could barely tell what's going on. There was one scene that was shot in the light, which they did a good job on, and that was about it. I mean, most gruesome scene, they kill somebody, and they didn't show that much. And then you see the guy cut like a very bloody piece of meat and cook on. That looked really gruesome, and they had lots of... I mean, they really made it look really gross. They had to cut up a tomato, kind of look just as dark and red as that stuff. It reminded me of the prickly pear thing I ate, and because it's very dark, blood red type thing. And John said, I remember John commented, and he said, "What's that? A human heart?" It was actually pretty good, though. It is just expensive, but like I said, a very low score for the remake of Blood Feast. I mean, I didn't have high hopes for it, but I thought I'd give it a shot to see what and talk about Herschel Gordon Lewis, which is always fun. I didn't like Herschel Gordon Lewis' Blood Mania either. It was only good when he was on screen. And then I remember reviewing a movie that he did called Terror Tunes 3. He did some narration and some, what do you call it? No, he was a narrator of the movie. Yeah, he was good now. I like Herschel Gordon Lewis. It's only okay. And then I saw the guy who directed it saying like, "Oh, he's gonna make this the grossest." They didn't barely showed anything. And he said this guy doing a special makeup artist. The makeup in the original was much better. I mean, like I said, it was so dark you couldn't tell a lot what was going on. But Vertigo and Lois, it was like bright and you could see everything pretty much. So very low score for the remake of Blood Feast. I didn't care for it from 2016, but much better than remake of Wizard of the Gore, which was dreadful. So until next time, bye please. Take care, my legion. Baby Gee.